Right.
Here we go.
Oh, look at you people on this beautiful spring day.
Hello,
Welcome,
hello.
welcome. Hey, Carrie. Hey,
Yeah.
Lee.
Good vibe show.
Hi, Diane. Hey, Becky. I love seeing all the pictures come up.
Judy.
Slowly but surely. Hey, Judy.
Hello, everyone.
I didn't realize how many redheads we had in the group.
Hi, Renee.
Hey, everybody. Evelina, how are you? Oops. Gotta admit more people here.
Fancy headphones. Excellent.
And how many Judys we've got?
Judy.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
So I'm curious about, okay, I know weather is such a banal thing to talk about, but it's so different for so many of us. So here it is cold and windy as all get out. But is anyone having really nice weather that I can live vicariously through?
I'm looking it up. Although it is 83. That's kind of
Oh, I would take that right now.
Yeah, I have to say, so I am visiting my son in Arizona. So I'm in a Airbnb right now, and we had brunch outside, and it was in the shade. So it was like perfect temperature, and I think it was 80. I think it's getting up to 87 or something today, but just spectacular.
Oh, that all sounds lovely. Lee's
Yeah.
got sunny in 70s. Lee, we're not that far apart. Why don't I have sunny in 70s?
because Lee took it all.
There
Come
you
on
go.
down. It's got wineries within like two miles of my house. There are wineries. Come on down.
Perfect.
Ooh, I'll be right over.
All right.
Surprised that Carrie is as warm as I am, though.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Full sun in the Colorado mountains. Love
Yeah,
it.
Ginny, you and I are more on par here.
Yeah, we had bad weather last week at home, but this week's supposed to be nice. So we shall see. We shall see.
Right. Well,
we had wicked weather the other day that came through and blew in all kinds of nastiness. So ours comes and goes. But yeah, it's 80, maybe 80 plus outside, full sun. So yeah.
Summer.
But it's starting to get sticky. We have like 2 weeks where it's not sticky, and then it goes from like mild with all the pollen to like full on sauna when you go outside.
Yeah, our pollen finally calmed down where everything isn't always yellow.
Yeah, we're waiting for the cicadas any minute now.
Well, Sarah, we have a poll, don't we?
Yes, I was just going to say we've got a little poll here, just like we always like to do. So take a second to answer our quick little questions. And again, if you're on a tablet, just remember you kind of have to find the more option. It looks like 3 dots usually, and then the poll is usually hiding in there. So take a gander.
Look at all those people that have been in a lighthouse. I'm feeling
But
left
nobody
out.
lives in one.
Can there be an option 4? Like an option 4 for question number 3?
Sure. What's that?
So I like mountains a lot, and I like looking at the ocean. It's fine. I like looking at it. I am petrified of open water and deathly afraid of fish.
Well, there you go. Definitely not an in the ocean person.
No.
Observe from afar, yes.
I will go in it, but I need like a day to recover afterwards.
I feel about lakes. I don't mind the ocean having.
No, I do not like them at
because you
all.
can't see anything.
Mm-mm. No, I don't like them. Even when we've owned boats, I do not like to get in them. I have to like psych myself out and pretend that nothing lives in the water.
It looks like everyone who maybe has can answer has answered. So I'm just gonna end this and share the results with you guys real quick here. Hopefully you can see these. And we're almost evenly split about been to Maine, not been to Maine. I have not been to Maine. Janet, have you? I know Cadence has.
I have, yep. I
Okay,
have a good
so
friend who
you
lives
guys
there.
tip it in the been to Maine favor. Everybody has been in a lighthouse.
Except
which
for
is-
me.
You
Me
haven't? You're kidding.
I didn't know it was a thing. Now I'm gonna have to go find one.
All right, yes, goals, bucket list.
Exactly.
Sadly, nobody actually lives in a lighthouse. I was just, rolling the dice there to see if we get one of there. And then we kind of are all in the mix, we've got a few that prefer one or the other, but half of us want a state or a place where they can go to the mountains and the seaside. So that's kind of nice. I like that.
That's one of the things I love about Maine is that you can do both.
Yeah. Same
Yeah.
with Oregon. We are lucky like that. Okay, well,
You
welcome
can't really
everybody.
swim in the waters off
We
Maine.
are at the third stop of the Getaways tour, where we take you to our favorite knitting getaway locations. And I know you guys all probably know this by now, but just really quick, we'll introduce ourselves in case this is your first show. I'm Sarah. I'm the owner of Not Another Hat here in Hood River, Oregon, where we just like everybody to feel like they're right at home. So Janet, would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm Janet. I own String Theory Yarn Company outside of Chicago, and we are all about featuring socially responsible and environmentally friendly products and yarn. And
And
Katie?
I'm Cadence. I'm here at Fuzzy Goat in Thomasville, Georgia, down in the southwest corner of the state. And we like to connect and include as many people as possible through really whimsy and fun is what we're kind of trying to do here. So along those lines, I'm tasked with the housekeeping, which is not the funnest part, but it is fun because, we all know this by now. So while your video's on, everyone's going to be muted so we don't get any background noises. And any questions you have along the way, be sure and put them in the chat. Sarah and Janet and I are looking at the chat and seeing what things you might have on your mind that we need to address all the way through the show. So make use of that in there. And now that we've got the housekeeping out of the way, let's get the show on the road. So Sarah?
All right, you know what's coming next. We're going to send you out to some small groups to get to know each other a little bit better. And we love how many people have made new friends throughout the years of doing the Good Vibes Tour because of these little breakout groups. So in today's group, we would love it if you would share some tips you have for knitting lace or maybe your favorite lace patterns. And to help get things rolling, the first person to talk in each group is the person who's closest to Maine. So you'll all have to share where you're at and help figure out who's closest to Maine. They'll be the first one to share. So I'm going to open the rooms and you're going to see an invitation to your room. So click join or go. I can't remember exactly what it says, but we'll see you back here in a few. Welcome back.
Welcome back. Welcome back. We felt like you guys were having really good conversations because nobody came back at the warning. Everybody waited until you got booted out of there. So lovely. If anybody has a great tip to share, if you would put that in that you learned in your group, if you would put that in the chat for everyone, that would be fabulous. I would love to know because lace is a challenge to me. So whatever tips you have, I would love them. All right. So now that we're all back, Cadence is going to dive into box number 3.
Oh, I just had so much fun putting this box together. Right when we had come up with the idea of Getaways, I was getting ready to go on my first vacation in a really long time. And we chose to go to Maine. We had been to Maine a few times before we had kids. My oldest is now 38. So we hadn't taken a lot of vacations. And so we thought, well, let's go back someplace that we know we're going to love. And I love that it has the mountains and it has the ocean. It has amazing food. And I discovered it has amazing yarn because I found Karen's Seven Sisters Arts in every one of the yarn shops that I went to up there. So I brought it back as souvenirs for the team. So that was just so serendipitous. But right now we have a little tour to show you of lighthouses around Maine so that Janet and I can pretend that we've been in one, and the rest of you guys maybe will see one that you've actually been in.
Okay, here we go. I'm going to share my screen. And we'll get that.
If you're looking for some coastal charm and breathtaking views, there's no better place to visit than the great state of Maine. And what better way to experience the rugged beauty of this northeastern paradise than by exploring its most iconic landmarks, the lighthouses. Join Viewcation and join us on a journey to discover the best lighthouses to visit in Maine. Cape Nettic Lighthouse. Roosted atop Cape Nettic in York, the Nubble Light stands as a beloved icon of Maine's rich maritime history. This historic beacon, completed in 1879, sits on a scenic island just a stone's throw from York's rugged coastline. And while a cable car once connected the keeper of the lighthouse to the mainland, these days visitors can simply drive to Sawyer Park for breathtaking views of this stunning tower. For a truly unforgettable experience, consider booking a scenic cruise with Finest Kind and taking in the Nubble Light from a unique vantage point, the sparkling sea. Marvel at the elegant York-style coastal residences as you cruise by and witness firsthand the beauty that has made this lighthouse one of the most famous in all of Maine. Marshall Point Lighthouse. Nestled in the scenic southern reaches of the Maine seashore, the Marshall Point Lighthouse, much like the one we just discussed, stands as a shining testament to the state's rich and storied maritime heritage. Built in 1858, along with its accompanying keeper's house, gardens, and museum, this 24-foot beacon is a beauty to behold. Once you've explored every nook and cranny of this historic lighthouse, be sure to venture out on a hike to the nearby fishing village of Port Clyde. Here, you can indulge in some of the freshest lobster and seafood Maine has to offer before embarking on a thrilling cruise with the Monhegan Boat Line. Prepare to be awestruck by the incredible sea life that awaits, including playful harbor seals, majestic minke whales, and even the beloved puffins of the Maine coast. But don't forget to save some time to fully appreciate the Marshall Point Lighthouse itself. You'll find a light tower accessible via a charming walkway, as well as a delightful summer kitchen and the original oil house. And be sure to visit the small adjacent museum room filled with fascinating research findings, photographs, and documents that delve deep into the area's rich history. Bass Harbor Head Lighthouse. Set against the majestic backdrop of Mount Desert Island's craggy coastline lies the Bass Harbor Head Lighthouse, a historic treasure that has stood the test of time since construction in 1858. Although visitors aren't able to step inside, they can still take in its beauty by exploring the lush walking trails that meander around the property. With panoramic views of the rugged Maine shoreline, these trails offer a perfect vantage point to admire the lighthouse and its dramatic setting within Acadia National Park. Whether you're an intrepid hiker or just a casual stroller, the Bass Harbor Head Lighthouse's surrounding trails offer a memorable experience for all. Getting to the lighthouse is a breeze too. You can either arrive by car or hop aboard the complimentary Island Explorer Shuttle, which drops visitors off just a short half-mile from this iconic attraction. Cape Elizabeth Lighthouse. As its name implies, Maine's Two Lights State Park was named after the two lighthouses that were built there in 1828. And it's no wonder why. With over 98 shipwrecks along this treacherous coastline, these lighthouses were a vital beacon of hope for sailors in need. One of these lighthouses, the Cape Elizabeth, still stands tall and proud today. But it's not just the stunning views of the rocky coastline that draws visitors to the landmark. Just 45 miles north, in Bath, you'll find the Maine Maritime Museum and their incredible exhibit Into the Lantern, a lighthouse experience. Here you can step into a full-scale replica of the Cape Elizabeth Lighthouse and explore its tower lantern room, complete with the iconic Fresnel lens. The original lighthouse featured two towers, with one emitting a fixed beam and the other a rotating one. So whether you're a history buff, a maritime enthusiast, or just looking for a breathtaking photo opportunity, the Cape Elizabeth Lighthouse is a must visit. Portland Headlight. Just a quick 5-mile jaunt south of downtown Portland lies a true Maine icon, the Portland Headlight, proudly holding the title of the state's oldest lighthouse. This historic beacon was first illuminated in 1791, and it still stands watch over the rocky coastline from its perch within Fort William State Park. Visitors to the Portland Headlight can step back in time by exploring the museum housed within the original keeper's quarters, or wander through the park to marvel at the old fort structures and take in the spectacular views of the vast ocean. And if you happen to find yourself there between May and October, make sure to indulge in a legendary lobster roll from the Bite into Maine lobster truck. Spring Point Ledge Light. Tucked away just a hop, skip, and a 10-minute drive from the iconic Portland Headlight lies another gem of the Maine coastline, the Spring Point Ledge Light. This unique lighthouse is not just a beautiful sight to feast your eyes on, but also the only caisson-style light station in the entire U.S. Originally built in 1897 to safeguard ships from a perilous ledge lurking near the busy Portland Harbor shipping channel, the Spring Point Ledge Light has been a stalwart guardian of these waters for over a century, and thanks to the addition of a sturdy granite breakwater path in 1951, visitors can now safely stroll right up to the lighthouse and take in its historic beauty up close. But be warned, navigating the rocky terrain of the breakwater path can be tricky, so it may not be the best choice for tiny seafarers or the elderly. But for those up for the adventure, the Spring Point Ledge Light offers an unforgettable experience free of charge. As you watch the boats glide by, take a moment to appreciate the historic Fort Preble nearby and bask in the salty sea air. Portland Breakwater Light. Nicknamed the Bug Light for its comparably diminutive size, this little lighthouse packs in a big punch when it comes to charm and history. It has the distinction of being the shortest lighthouse in all of Maine, and it's conveniently located near the other famous lighthouses of Portland, including the iconic Headlight. Originally built with a wooden design in 1855, the Bug Light was eventually replaced with the current decorative Greek column design in 1875. Since then, it's served as a dependable marker for the edge of the rocky breakwater protecting Portland Harbor. And it's free to visit and open daily. Owl's Head Lighthouse. If you're seeking a quintessential Maine experience, look no further than the Owl's Head Lighthouse, one of the most iconic landmarks in the state. Situated at the entrance to Rockland Harbor on the cozy coastal town of Owl's Head, this historic beacon is nestled in the western reaches of Penobscot Bay and is owned by the U.S. Coast Guard, licensed to the American Lighthouse Federation. Upon arrival, you'll find ample parking, steps from the lighthouse grounds, which are open to the public. Take in the dazzling sights of the rugged Maine coastline from afar, or venture up close for an unforgettable view high above the rocky terrain, complete with sweeping vistas of the distant islands and Maine's famed Windjammer Fleet. Pemaquid Point Lighthouse. If you're looking for a truly iconic Maine experience, look no further than the Pemaquid Point Lighthouse, a gorgeous beacon located about 67 miles northeast of Portland and immortalized on the Maine State U.S. Quarter. Dating back to 1827 and built at the behest of none other than John Quincy Adams, this striking tower remains in operation to this day. Visitors can immerse themselves in its rich history by exploring the Fisherman's Museum located within the original keeper's house on site. And for those looking for a truly immersive experience, book a stay in the apartment upstairs and live like a genuine lighthouse keeper for a night. On top of that, the grounds also boast an art gallery, a learning center, and even picturesque picnic areas perfect for savoring Maine's natural beauty. Now it's time to hear from you. Have you ever been to Maine? Have you seen any of these lighthouses? Let us know in the comments section below.
Oh, well, thanks for going on that little tour with us. That was easier on my knees watching it that way than going up inside. So I hope you guys think about going to visit some of those. So our yarn artist for this tour is Karen Grover from Seven Sisters Arts. Hi, Karen. Welcome so much to the Good Vibes Tour. Thanks for giving us part of your Sunday.
Sure.
And I have questions I'm going to ask Karen, but if you have some also, you can put them in the chat, and Janet and Sarah will help me make sure we get those in there. But let's just start with what we're always curious about is, Karen, how did you get into the dyeing world initially? Because you've had several professions before this.
It's true. I am very much a process person. So I like to understand, starting at A, how you're going to get to Z. or something like that. And I had always been into textiles. My mom sewed a lot, and I sewed my first outfit, I think, in 4th grade. And my grandmothers were, one was an artist, an art teacher, and the other one was a knitter. And I was always begging her to teach me how to knit, and she finally did. And my mom also was very creative. She did ceramics. So it just kind of evolved. Like, I just tried a lot of different textile things when I was younger, batiking and quilting and, just a lot of different stuff. And the way that I learned how to dye yarn was I was working on a sheep farm, because I thought, well, if I'm going to be a knitter, I should probably know how to raise sheep, you know? So I went and worked on, yeah, I worked on a sheep farm one summer during college, and she did natural dyeing. And so I learned how to do that, and that was loads of fun because it was outside, and we made big fires, with cinder blocks and rebar or something for the stove, and then had these huge pots and filled it with hoses. And so I spent a summer just doing that, and then got kind of hooked. And then I spent a long time weaving. I worked as a production weaver, and then I had 2 different college degrees, which kind of explain why I think part of how I ended up doing this. One was plant and soil science, and then the next one was a degree in nursing with the goal of being a midwife, which I didn't pursue because I had kids, and by that time I was like done with school. But I did work as a labor nurse for 15 years. And so when my kids were young, I didn't really do much of anything except for being a mom and working. And then when they started doing sports, I found myself at these games, and I just could not stand to sit there and not be doing something. So I started knitting again. And I had all of this leftover yarn from my weaving days, and it was kind of just like, eh. So I just dyed it. And then people saw it, and they were like, where did you get that? So that's really how I got into the yarn. I think I just, and that's kind of how I get into everything. It's like my daughter gave me a cookbook from Oaxaca for Oaxacan food this Christmas, and the next week I'm ordering seeds for all the special kind of peppers you need to make mole.
Fabulous.
Yeah, I need to rein it in sometimes.
Oh, why? It's working. Well, tell us about your name, Seven Sisters Arts.
So I was trying to think of a name that would give me like a structure, kind of a format that I could use, like a thematic format that I could use to, name the yarns with that kind of thing. So like the yarn, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. So, and I also only had brothers and never had a sister. And so I'm always wanted a sister. And I was thinking about how I had worked with women my whole life, because I was a women's health nurse. And before this, I had owned a yarn shop in another dyeing company, but we were splitting up. So I was starting another one and had to think of this name. And I also wanted it to convey like a sense of community and connection. So I had pages and pages of ideas and just chose Seven Sisters Arts. I chose arts because I wanted it to leave me a little room if I wanted to bring in other stuff like fabric or whatever. And then, but it's also there's the constellation, the Seven Sisters Arts. So that's the short answer, is that it's named after that. But I thought, well, it gives me the framework. So I named a lot of my yarns after stars in that constellation or just other astronomical words. And I thought it implied, the sense of connection and community. And I realized I had found my sisters.
That's lovely.
Wow, very nice.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you built the community around that, like all these people that love your work and your yarn and the community that comes from that. So
Yeah.
that's a great story. Can you tell us a little bit about your dyeing operation? Is that what we're seeing behind you?
Yeah.
In your
Yeah.
house, studio?
Yeah, this is a room in our house. We live in a really old pile in Maine, an old farmhouse. And this room actually didn't used to have a floor or any windows. It was like a wood room, or there, I think 150 years ago, there had been animals because you can see chewing marks on some of the beams. So my husband, who can do anything that I dream up, almost turned it into a studio for me. And so, yeah, I'll kind of move the camera around. I guess what you can see over there is my old show yarn grid wall turned into a plant rack.
Is that your Oaxacan
Those
seed?
seeds.
There are, yes. I'm gonna have to
I
go
don't
to
want to be you, Karen. This is fabulous.
Yeah, I've got peppers, like a lot of yes, that's this. I love growing food mostly. I mean, I do medicinal things, some and flowers, but I just really I like it's like knitting, it's like you're making something that you can use. So that's the that. And then I have a table of stuff here. I can show you some samples that are made with the yarn that you have. Why does it say unmute myself? I'm not
You're
mute.
fine.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then these two poles back here, these are for shibori dyeing, which is really the thing that gets me excited, but I haven't done any in a while. And then these sinks. This is a little yarn spinner, that you can like spin the excess water out.
Yeah.
And then here's my dye. I'm gonna move this to the other side of the room.
Yeah, let's see some of those samples that you wanted
Okay.
you had to
So
show.
I do all the dyeing right here.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh, let me just show you. Oh, well, we can show you. I'll show you that later because I think that might come up later. So here's a couple hats that are made with the Zodiac, which is the yarn that was that all three groups got, right?
Yep. Yep. Everyone got that. And we have some of Karen's yarn in the shop now also. So you guys can use your coupon.
Right. And the samples I'm going to show you are include some of the other yarn that you got. So these are just hats. These are all my designs. with the zodiac. Here's a cowl. The zodiac's really nice. It's does everybody have it already?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's really soft and thick. But it also it's got body and it has really nice stitch definition. This is another piece I designed with the zodiac, and it's just a long modular rectangle, and then I use this closure.
Oh, that's brilliant. And we can, are your designs on,
rectangle? Can you believe it?
yeah. Are your designs on Ravelry so we can just link to that? And
yeah, they're all there. They're on
okay.
my website and on Ravelry.
All right.
And I just released a new one today.
Oh, exciting. Well, we'll be sending everyone over to your group on patterns on Ravelry then, so we can get the names.
So this is really fun. This is 4 skeins of the zodiac, and it's modular, so there's no seaming. You just pick up and do it all in one.
Well, look, Sarah's done it already.
And then this is the Apex yarn, which
yeah, we got that here too. So we have 3 different of Karen's yarns here at the store. So if you want to try some of her other ones right now too.
So this is, I think, my favorite yarn that I have, and I don't actually have a lot of it on hand right now because the suppliers sold their business and then it was unavailable for a while, but I was able to get it again.
Yeah,
This is the undyed, and it when I first got it, it pained me to dye it because it's just so beautiful that way. This is Rhinelust by Melanie Berg. Takes 3 skeins. It's the most well-written pattern I think I've ever come across. Here's a nice, just a 2-color little shawlette with a garter and mosaic and lace by Lisa Hannes. It's called Lorelei. But that's really beautiful yarn. It's merino, yak, and silk.
It just glows. It's beautiful.
Yeah, the silk has that effect, and then it has the sheen, but it also just feels amazing from the yak because that's like cashmere. Another piece, this is not, it's from a Hunter Hammerson book that's not in print anymore, but it's like, I think the piece of all the shows I've done that has gotten the most admiration. So it's just I mean, it's simple, but it's not. It's just
Beautiful.
Beautiful. That
yeah.
looks like brioche.
It's lace.
Yeah, that's lovely.
But it's a beautiful pattern. And then another Melanie Berg Open Waters. I like these kind of bold. It's hard to see that, but you can see the whole.
Yeah.
That's fun.
So Judy wants to know, what types of dyes do you use?
I can do natural dyeing, but when I decided, for business, I wanted to do something that I knew I could reliably reproduce. So I mostly use acid dyes. I do sometimes still go back to natural dyes because I love that, but I don't know, when I've tried it, it's hard. I don't know. People, I think when they see it next to the acid dyes, it's like you just go to the other because it's more like eye candy. But
Yes.
mostly mostly acid dyes, which are over on this rack. And the thing, acid sounds scary, but what it means is it's fixed with the pH has to be acidic. So you can either use vinegar or citric acid. And I use citric acid because it doesn't have that pickle smell.
Well, we have
Water.
a couple more questions. One of the ones I wanted to ask is, have any of your colorways started as a fortunate accident?
Yes, that happens a lot. I have one here. So I had this big order when I first started out for one of those subscription yarn boxes, and they wanted like 600 or 700 skeins of the same color. And so I can dye like 30 or 40 skeins at a time. Here's and this was actually one of the colors that turned. So this raises up.
Whoa.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
That's cool.
And so I was doing a color. Well, yeah, my husband did that because I got 2 frozen shoulders from the way I used to do it. But I was doing this gold color that was a lot like that. Well, this is more green, but it was kind of like a gold, and it came out too mustardy, and I just was kind of annoyed with myself because I knew I couldn't give it to them as part of their order. So I put it in timeout, I put it in a box, and I was like, it's 40 skeins, which is a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what to do with it. And I had always kind of wanted to try making something, and the colors that you got for the box actually was some of the outcome of this.
Oh, fun.
I wanted to try mixing like green and pink. And because you get these wonderfully like salmon and peachy and red colors, or it could also just turn more muddy. So did you guys got rhubarb, right? I think
Yes.
so that's what I wanted to try, like doing this pink and green thing. And then I realized that the colors, the 40 skeins I had were almost green. They were kind of a yellow, a greenish yellow. So instead of what I did, and this is how I used to do when I used to do a lot more mini skeins and gradients, was like I would have a base color, and then I would have like say well, then I would put them in 5 or 6 different strengths of another color. So I thought, oh, I'm going to take those 40 skeins and divide them up into different batches and add different amounts of pink. And this is what I got.
Woo! Oh, wow.
Wow.
And I was like, it was such a surprise.
That is definitely a fortunate accident.
Yeah. And so that's both of the colors you got are kind of outcomes of that.
Well, thank you so much, Karen. I really appreciate you taking time out of your weekend to join us today. You make the most beautiful yarns. Everything, it's like Becky says, it's just such a great workspace and so purposeful. So we're just really lucky to have you spend some time with us today.
Well, it's my pleasure, and thanks for
welcome.
including me in your project this year.
You're welcome to continue to hang out with us a little bit, because now I'm going to talk about the pattern choice and all of that.
Okay.
So
I
tried.
myself. I'm gonna mute myself, okay? Because I have.
So I tried wearing it even another way today. I've been practicing lots of different ways. I am totally on the bandana kick right now. So I have just used one button after wrapping it around my neck, not as a complete cowl, but see, I just wrapped it around and then used one button. I was inspired by this color. In fact, while I was knitting the pattern up to try it out, the rhubarb, I was also interviewing colors to paint my house. And the front door of my house is now like this salmon pink. And we have a very small house, and we have 4 doors, and all 4 doors are salmon pink now. So because I love this color. It started out, made me happy, but it's really fun. I know Renee was working on hers the other day, and she started with the rusty color. So you could choose either way. I wanted to design a pattern that did have lace, but was an easy lace, easy to remember, no increases or decreases. So that's why it's straight, and just a really great way to start off using lace if you haven't, or just be able to have something easy to do while we're always talking about knitting while we're traveling. So that was a lot of it. And then all the different ways you can do it. The buttons, I just thought the bees were really fun and couldn't resist those on there too. So I'm going to be really looking forward to seeing how you guys style yours and where you put the buttons and how you do all of that there. Let's see if we have any of them started. I know at least one of you has started. So I got my bell ready to ring. If we've got some ones that are.
Oh my gosh, Renee's is finished.
It looks like she's finished hers. Lori.
Connie's looks finished.
Yeah. Fabulous. Okay.
Wow.
So
You guys are
pretty.
rock stars. Lori.
Yeah, you guys are
lovely.
amazing.
Some of you may be saving this amazing yarn for another perfect worsted project.
Wow.
And we have some of Karen's, this base. So if you wanted to pair it with another different set of colors or something, feel free to come over and use the coupon. That I'm getting a little ahead of myself because Janet's going to talk about the other things that are in the box.
Yes, I am. So we saw obviously the buttons that Cadence has on her shawl, and just love these buttons, and actually love ceramic buttons. They're very hardy. So it's a nice thing to have on your garment. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is the mustard. Oh my gosh. I don't have it with me because I'm traveling, but also because I've already opened the jar and used it several times. So Cadence put that in the recipe for the potato salad, which I'm sure is delicious. I have tried it on, I have a recipe for steak tips that has a marinade, and the marinade asks for, and I'll put the link in the chat, but the marinade called for brown sugar and mustard. And I thought, oh, instead of putting the brown sugar and the mustard, I'm just going to use this wonderful mustard from Maine with the molasses in it. So good. So good. So I highly recommend that. I will put the link to the steak tips, but if you have anything that calls for a sweet mustard or mustard plus brown sugar, yeah, definitely go for that. So yeah, I think that's what I needed to talk about. Yeah. So Cadence, we're back to you.
Okay. Well, I wanted to remind you guys to use your Fuzzy Goat coupon. It's good through the end of the month. It's on your insert, and the code is FG Escape. So Fuzzy Goat Escape. And you can use it on the Seven Sisters pop-up, and I'll have some additional buttons, more of these same buttons. They came in yesterday. I'll get them up on the website tonight. Also, so if you post pictures on Instagram, please be sure and tag us so we can make sure we find them too. And you can tag us at all one word, Good Vibes Yarn Tour. And so, Sarah, we're going to take it to you because you get the most excited when we talk about this. We're all excited, but Sarah gets the most excited. So she's sharing it.
Can't help but do my Zoom dance. All right. So I hope that you all saw the email we sent to you yesterday. If you didn't, I'm about to spill the beans. This tour, this Getaways tour, was not just because we had this brilliant idea that we wanted to share our favorite getaways with you all, but because we knew that we wanted to actually take you on a getaway physically in person. And that is what we are doing this fall. So our very first Good Vibes in-person retreat will be to visit the beautiful town of Thomasville, Georgia, and the home of Fuzzy Goat. So we have been working on this behind the scenes. We are so excited. I can't even begin to tell you how excited we are to put all the details together for what we can do in Thomasville and how we're going to spend our time together and the fun things we're going to do and the yarny things we're going to do. So we wanted to let you know about it first because you are our trusty, loyal, current groupies. So you all get first dibs at placing your deposit before we send out the blanket email to the rest of the newsletter list. The dates are, I just saw a question fire by. The dates are October 10th through 13th. So it will be this fall in October. That's a Thursday to a Sunday. And the item, which I do have here ready with a link, I'm going to put that in the chat. This is got all of the important details. It's got the price. It's got, kind of a rough outline of the agenda. It's got the final payment due dates, all of those things. We have occupancies for single occupancies and double. So you can get together with a roommate and share a room if you would like to do that. So if you have any questions at all, we are here to answer them. Does anyone, I saw the dates. Did I miss any other questions?
It's a small group because it's physical. There is a physical limit on how many we can.
Yes, just 28 is all we can do. So space is a little bit limited. And of course, it won't be the last, we hope. It will just be the very first in a whole string of fun events. The dates are October 10 through 13. And so if you head over to that link that I shared, that has the whole product information. I'm just scrolling here to look. We talk about the things again that will happen. We have the pricing available there. Your deposit's $500. That is all but 150 is refundable. So if you did cancel, you still do lose 150 of your deposit, but that will hold your spot so that we don't end up with kind of a confusing, muddled list of people who are interested and aren't sure if they're going to go. So any other questions there?
I did want to say one thing.
Yes, please do.
So when we were putting this together, we were thinking about our virtual tours and what things have been so popular with our groupies from that. And so we've applied that to this in-person retreat. And so there's a lot of retreats out there going on, and they all have a sort of different feel to them or different focus. And so I would say that ours, a little bit, just besides being impacted by the three of us and whatever whims we come up with, but we're all about the snack, right? In your book, in your box. The food is going to be really, really good. We're all about giving you a taste of the area as well. Like we're always doing the videos. Today we did the lighthouse. We're doing a video that kind of takes you to that place. So we're not only going to go to Thomasville and sit in a, conference room and, teach you a few things or sit around and knit. We're going to get out and explore and really get the feeling of what is Thomasville and what makes Thomasville unique. And so we wanted to incorporate that into the retreat as well. So it's going to be, and then the behind the scenes with the dyers, we've got a little of that sprinkled in, and so it's going to be really, really cool and different than other retreats that you might have been on or that you'll see out there.
Yes. Thank you so much for adding all of that, because yes, that's all good things that we've talked about. And every time we get together on Tuesdays and we are finessing the details of this, we end up more and more excited. So
Yeah.
I don't know who's going to be more excited, actually, the people coming with us or just the three of us, just to meet and to see everybody actually
Yeah,
in
that's
person, which many years coming, right? So Renee asked when it goes live. It's going to go live tomorrow afternoon. I mean, it is live now, but the odds of someone stumbling across it aren't huge. But we will be broadcasting it out to our newsletter list tomorrow afternoon at 4:30 Pacific time. So
Yeah. So if you're thinking about signing up, go ahead and do that today. So you reserve your spot, because we don't even have room for all the current groupies to attend in person.
that is the hard thing about the in-person events, is they are more, more restricted on how many people you can
Yeah.
fit.
And Judy's asking about handicapped accessible and how much walking. Cadence, you want to address that?
Yeah, that's a great question, because I have some limitations. And so everything is handicapped accessible. There is but we're not all in the same space, we're all together, but we're not all in the one space. So there is about a half a mile. Everything is within a half-mile radius, except for I think there is one event we're thinking of where we will arrange for transportation, because it's a couple miles away. So and then the sidewalks, it's all flat. That would be important to me to know that it's flat, but it is within a half a mile, and it isn't like changing classes where we're going to give you 15 minutes to get to the other side of campus. I think of Thomasville as like a little campus. We're going to have plenty of time to get from here to there. But that's a great question.
Yes.
If
Yeah,
you have
we
any
won't just be in
specific questions like that, feel free to let me know, and we'll see what specific.
Yes, and if you if you think of something after we're done here, just shoot it to the girls at goodvibesyarntour.com email, and us or Julia will get back to you right away with the specifics.
Yes.
All right.
Any questions? We're just excited what questions you're going to have. So which will probably only lead to, oh yeah, let's do that too.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess we've already run over just a little bit, so we'll set y'all free back to your Sunday afternoons, but thank you once again for making this a successful Good Vibes Yarn Tour. We've been so thrilled to have you along to our favorite knitting getaways.
Yeah.
And we look forward to hopefully seeing some of you in person.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much. We
Yeah,
really
thank you.
You
Have
just
a great
keep
rest of your
going.
weekend.
Bye.
Bye.